This is just a quick video to discuss the perimeter insulation and the wall insulation on the BWR. There's been some misunderstanding of what the perimeter insulation is and how to report it. To better illustrate this, I've got a section of a wall here, and I just want to point out that the perimeter is only this section right here between the basement wall and the main floor wall. This board that runs along the perimeter of the thermal boundary, it's also called the sill or the sill box. That is what you are reporting in the perimeter section. So if any insulation is added there, that should be reported. If no insulation was added, you would leave it as 0. So on the BWR, under perimeter insulation, if there is 0 existing and 0 added, that's how you'd report it. If there's an R13 existing and you add nothing, then you'd put a 13 here and a 0 here. If you add some insulation where none was, then you'd have a 0, and then you'd show that you added an R13 or R19 or whatever. But that is what you should be reporting for the perimeter insulation. For the wall insulation, typically you're going to be reporting the insulation that is added to a stick-framed wall or a wall with a cavity where you've blown in insulation on the main floor. You can also use that wall section to report insulation that's added to a basement wall, as long as the basement wall was an intentionally conditioned space. We would not want you to add any insulation that was added, say, in a crawl space, because although it does increase the R value of that wall, it is not an intentionally conditioned space. Is typically one that we don't intend to condition. We're not trying to get the temperature in the crawl space up to the same temperature we would have in the room above. So when you're reporting on the BWR, only report wall insulation for walls in intentionally conditioned spaces. And the reason for that is that it helps us to better understand what you're trying to apply for rebates. So if you have a wall insulation rebate, you could be applying for a rebate for insulation on this wall up above. You could also be applying for a rebate if you had done a pin and drape down below. So if no insulation was added above and you did a pin and drape in the basement and you're going to be applying for the rebate, then you would put in here on the wall insulation that you added an R19 pin and drape, and then down below on the RMP addendum, we would expect to see the cost of that wall insulation represented here where you're applying for a rebate.